Pine Grove News Live, 6:02. I didn't play the second song because it got a little, well, I'm a little late. Let me turn off my. Hey everyone, Pine Grove News Live, 6:02. So blessings to everyone. It's Friday, and it is a beautiful day outside. I turn this off. Come on, man. All right, so now we're all set, I believe, until we come to a video. Then I'll have to turn on that other input. Anyways, hope everyone's doing all right this Friday. I know a lot of things have been going on all around the U.S., all around the world with weather. I mean, we just can't get away from it now. It's a all-out, full-out scale war, man. That's what it is. And I don't know, and, well, first of all, let's mention that tomorrow is the start of the hurricane season here. Tomorrow, Saturday. In the meantime, I'm going to go through some weather. I mean, you can't help but, you can't avoid it. Or it needs to be talked about. But let's get going. I know we all got other better things to do. Listen to news, particularly, not very good news. And I don't know how I can, these days, stress enough this particular page right here. Let me go see if I'm live streaming. Appears that I am. Turn off the volume there. Yeah, I can't stress this enough. This is stopthecrime.net. This is Debbie Traveris. And she has done so much work. I don't know what her husband does. I don't usually hear him mentioned. He has been mentioned. He probably does all this work. But in any case, there's just all kinds of stuff we need to get in and look at there, a lot of data before it's gone, before they start taking this stuff down. I'm surprised that some of it's still up, but she does have multiple sites. And what I'm going to be reading over this weekend again is the NASA war plan, NASA war plan. It's in here somewhere. You can find anything, and if you can't find it, go search for it. What was the other one? Yes, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. That's the title of that. It's a PDF. So is the NASA war plans. I think both of them are one's 50 pages, one's 79 pages. I think I'm going to be going over both of them this weekend, somehow or another. We'll see how it goes, because I brought my bike to work today, and because it was supposed to be, it's 82, I believe, right now. Because it was supposed to be in the 80s. Anything above 72, I'll try to bring the bike into work, because it is still chilly in the morning. But I drove home from work. I almost didn't come back. How nice it was. I just got on the bike and in the open air and a beautiful day through some, farm fields, and not through them, but and there's all kinds of other stuff on this this website. I mean, she talks about, and there's plenty of data for that. Primarywater.org is a website of hers. She talks about this water wars that's going on. The government's trying to input their rules and regulations for God's water. Okay, you can't collect it in any fashion. You can't even do that in Connecticut, so they say. But, not that it will stop me, but yeah, you can't collect water, and they're poisoning a lot of it. Your tap water, all the waste treatment plants, which end up in your tap water, all of it's being treated with chemicals. Even the air. I heard from Debbie Traveris on, it was a video, I don't know, from yesterday that I started listening to today. And she's talking about the Orville Dam. and the problems that we've been talking about that are going on over there. And one of the things that she mentioned, which really, kind of gave me a V8 moment, you know what I mean? And she mentioned something about storms over the mountains up there in North California, dropping all the chemicals and the poisons from the clouds into the mountains, and then it goes down and it melts and it gets into our streams and rivers. And she even mentioned nuclear waste. And I'm saying, is that where all the nuclear radiation went to? Yeah, because eventually, it's going in the atmosphere, right? It's going to mix around up there. I would think that the Earth kind of, cleanses itself, because the Earth is alive and it knows how to. You think God would have made something that couldn't cleanse itself, that couldn't fix these things? Really? When he made the Earth, he said it was good. And there's nothing good but God. That kind of hurt me in the beginning, because I thought I was a good person. I really thought that if I could change a couple things, maybe that I could be a good person. I didn't think myself as a monster. Still not. When Jesus said that there is no, he said, because somebody called him good, and he says, no, I'm not good. There's only one that's good, and that's my Father. That's the, God in heaven. Adonai. Abba Father. He is the only one that's good. So that, like a few other things, during our walks, you'll find out it will punch you right in the face. It will smack you upside the head. And, the first time that I learned that my family will not be saved just because I'm saved. And I was hit pretty hard with that one. Because I basically, I knew God, didn't know him as much as I do now, but I figured if I turned my life over to God, that he would spare my family. But it's not up to me. It's up to God, and it's up to my family. Not up to me. So that was a pretty hard one for me. And so I've been trying, harder than I normally do, in talking about Jesus and the things that we got to do. I can go on and keep talking to you about some of these things, especially one thing that my wife, told me over the past couple of days that I didn't really get until the day after. She's actually listening. Yeah. And she even said, yeah, I'm listening. I'm not completely in that bubble anymore. I'm listening. That blew me away, man. But it took a whole day for me to realize that. That's the kind of block that's being put in front of us. And so there are other stories from this Debbie Traveris thing. This is a thing called Iron Mountain. Their blueprint for tyranny. It goes into what I've been studying, back, how our government started, how the banks started, back in, before World War I. Apparently, we were broke before that. I don't know when exactly it was, but 1913, 1917, somewhere in between there. President of the United States sold, gave away our country to the banks, created the Federal Reserve, and so on and so forth. And so we have been more like America Inc. since then. It is not the America of the United States. No, it is America Inc., and it has been ever since. In any case, we'll talk about that some other time more. I have a lot of the information. It's over there on my PC about the, Federal Reserve, the Patriot Act, all that stuff. But we'll start here with strange sounds. U.S. flooding crisis. 2 new levee breaches along the swollen Arkansas and Mississippi rivers prompt evacuations. In Darren, Arkansas, and Quincy, Missouri. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something and it shouldn't be that way. Frame. You know, it's showing up on the live stream too. I don't know why, because it's only supposed to. So, never mind. Talking to myself again, getting off script. Like there's any script. So yeah, the flooding, the levees breaking. I mean, it's just crazy, man. 160 homes in Dardanelle, Arkansas. And from what I hear, just so you know, the Oroville Dam, because I don't have anything here, happened there. I don't have anything here to give you an update. But as far as I know, even with flash flood warnings north of Oroville, and another storm that was produced or being produced either last night or today or both, that Oroville still stands at, what was it, 895 or 894.7, something like that, 6 feet away from the top. It's been like that for days. So I don't know if that's a true reading or not, but apparently there's a lot of activity going on during the day over there in Oroville. Massive baseball-sized hail pounds Lake Winola in Pennsylvania. Yep, one of the most frightening sights from Tuesday's storms was the hail. Size of baseball splashing into Lake Winola in Wyoming County. Look at that, man. Imagine if you're outside and you're seeing that, you better stop recording and get the heck inside. Doesn't take much to fall from the sky, you know, the size really doesn't matter. It's the speed at which it falls, free fall, right? It'll put a hole in your head. Please. Leave the camera, keep it running, and get out of the way. Anyways, Roberts kept recording the scary sight, and then a day later was helping clean the damage done in Scranton. See, we got a video here. Let's play it. Hope I don't get copyright.
It's hailing out.
Hold on before I do that. Let's do this. Okay. Or copyright flag. This is just for news and or teaching. So with that, let's play this little video.
No, boy. What size of those things?
He's walking out there. That's just crazy. I hope he's got something on his head.
This is crazy. Look at the size of those splashes. Woo! Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a hard hat. But even so.
Wow.
That is something, huh?
This is intense.
You know, these storms, just like the ocean, whenever I get near the ocean, and I love going, I'm just in awe of the ocean, how big it is, you know, and how small it makes you feel and insignificant, you know, that you are or I am. Just, wow. So when these storms come, though I am not scared of them, I do respect them. And I'm not going to go and stand in the middle of the road while the tornado comes down the road and say, all right, don't, you know, I'm not going to tempt the Lord with doing stuff like that. I'll use my common sense that the Lord gave me and, you know, get out of the way. In any case, extremely rare and large tornado hits Los Angeles and southern Chile. Yeah, and I asked Gold Watchman. He says, yeah, it's a rare thing, Los Angeles, to have a tornado and chili. I don't know. Tornadoes lately. Just look how that thing, that's moving pretty fast. Yeah, that goes on for 7 minutes, and you want to play it, you come back and play it. I'll leave it in the link. We're not going to watch it for 7 minutes. No. All right, so what else is going on? Fires devastate Israel, over 3,500 evacuated. So, yeah, folks, I mean, the fires, the weather, the flooding, it's worldwide. Again, it's worldwide. Because it's an attack on people. The people, everyday people. Mysterious flashes of light are appearing on the moon's surface. Who's that from again? End time headlines, Metro. Yeah, scientists have launched a bid to observe and understand mysterious flashes of light on the surface of the moon. The transient luminous lunar phenomena occur several times a week and illuminate parts of the moon's landscape for a brief period of time before disappearing. Sometimes a reverse effect can which causes the lunar surface to darken, has also been observed. Although there are several theories about the lunar mystery's light origins, they have not yet been fully explained. Yeah, well, we still don't even know truly whether the moon, well, we still got the flat earthers and the round earthers, but with the moon, we don't know whether. Some people claim it's hollow, some people claim it's a, what do you call it? Hologram. I've actually seen, like a filter. It was like a line just going across the bottom and going to the top and going all the way there. It was like it was refreshing or something like that. It's just weird. And some people claim that the face of the moon has turned. We're supposed to see just one side, this side, because of the way the moon goes around the Earth and so on and so forth. Some people claim that the moon is moving away. Some people claim that it's shrinking and it's causing earthquakes on the moon. Some people believe that it's coming closer to us. We have everything to choose from, right? Best thing we can do is just, keep praying and ask the Holy Spirit to reveal these things through discernment. The Holy Spirit will probably tell you, just don't worry about any of it. Who cares? The Lord said he put it in the sky for a light for the night, a lesser light. Okay? And for signs and seasons. That's all it's for. Doesn't matter whether it's a hologram, whether it's mechanical, whether it's hollow, whether it's made of tin or cheese or whatever. Doesn't matter. The Lord put it there. It's doing its job, what he told us that it would do, and that's it, right? The rest of it is just distraction. This is from the Union. LA officer has typhoid fever. 5 others show symptoms. We talked about this a couple days ago with the, with this Ebola Zaire outbreak. And they actually televised it, last weekend, 3 or 4 hours. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a rerun this weekend. Yeah, they claim that there is an increase in the rat population. Now, almost certainly. Can't we just go kill the rats? I mean, if they're known for breeding, just like the mosquitoes. I mean, I've been, purposely going out in the backyard, which I don't normally do, and look for every little puddle of water that has been around and drain it, tip it over, water in the chairs, the porch chairs and stuff like that, and make sure the water's empty. So, because the mosquitoes do breed in that still water. But the thing that I realized is the reason why I mentioned is because I went out there to do the lawn. I've been out there at least 3 times or 4 times already. There are a lot of mosquitoes out there. Even during the daytime, you could see them coming at you. I don't know what's going on, but there has been, quite an increase in mosquitoes. And you need to worry about that, not only for the, West Nile virus that I believe is still out there, but for any other things that these blood-sucking creatures can carry, Somebody, they could have gotten somebody next door who may have, AIDS or whatever, and come and do the same thing to you, and then next thing you know, that's how it's transmitted, one way. Careful. What is this? U.S. sends 900 more new troops to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, amid the Iranian threat. And on top of the 1,200 or 1,000 they sent last week? Well, Saudi Arabia is still at war with Yemen. If you want to call that a war, call it an annihilation of the population, because whether they're going after the militants or so-called terrorists, they're not the only ones being affected. The population is there's all kinds of sicknesses over there brought on by unsterile conditions. When bombs come and blow up houses, especially in a city. I mean, you have we're talking about water again, pooling water, no running water. I mean, all kinds of things happen. We Americans, we have it so easy right now. And I pray, I pray that it doesn't happen. I pray that it doesn't happen, but I also pray that, the Lord's will be done. And I know what's going to happen because he's been telling us. And I also pray for strength for all my brothers and sisters that they're able to handle that. Hopefully they won't have a heart attack for fear of all this. If their eyes are open like they should be, they won't. But it's kind of hard not to have feelings for people that are going through all these things. It's just, I constantly have to go into prayer and ask for some kind of peace. And he does give me the peace, but I don't know what you call them, the in-betweens. When I have the peace and I go about my day, and then you get, talking about it again, smacked in the face, with, I don't know, 8 dying here, 10 dying there, hundreds and thousands fleeing. I mean, stories like that, it's terrible. But it can get so much worse. When it comes to America, when America thinks that they're not they're not going to have any of this happen. They're just special. It's not going to come here. Fortunately, when people take away God, they take away a blessing. Fortunately, we will see what happens. This might get me kicked off, but concerning contaminants have been discovered in the Gardasil 9 vaccine. Okay, we'll try calling it something else. All these contaminants. I'll leave the story there. It doesn't really mention what the contaminants are. I haven't read farther enough down. It talks about this America lied about the vaccine HPV. It deceived the regulators. It deceived the public. There's no proof that vaccine does anything to solve the problem of cervical cancer. There's indications the vaccine actually gives you cancer. Yeah. And if I'm misstating anything, I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying this in belief, but because it's true. And I'm saying it that way so that America will sue me if I'm saying something wrong. That was John F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah. Well, we know about the vaccines and what we should know. I will never take them. They'll have to tie me down and forcibly inject that or the chip. Been thinking about that a lot lately because it's been talked about lately. Because believe it or not, it's not that the New World Order is giving up. They're going about it a different way. And you see how they're going, how it's happening. They're contaminating our food supplies. They're taking away our food supplies. They're destroying them with this geoengineered weather. Okay, remember HARP was in Alaska, and supposedly they shut it down because they already did what they were going to do. They can make plasma balls and direct them into the atmosphere and bounce them off the atmosphere and make them hit somewhere else. These are plasma balls. They could shoot at storms, at hurricanes, and just obliterate the storm, just dry it all up. And I've seen them make clouds. I've seen them make clouds in a short video in the 20s. I don't know whether they had video in the 20s, I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know, but I did see them, fog machines. It is moisture, on to hide a row of ships. I've seen them make this fog. I've seen them make fogs in these abandoned factories. You could see it on radar and, what they show you. You could see it bubbling up right in front of you. Many people have showed us how they do it. And then you got the chemtrails, which is, electrifying the atmosphere and that, and the barium and other chemicals that they're putting in the air. That's if you don't breathe it in, then it gets into the soil and just seeps into that and making whatever we grow out of it poisoned. Everything is just about GMO these days. How are we going to be able to, how much longer can we live with food that has no nutritional value? You wonder why you're tired all the time? Well, a lot of man-made chemicals can do that. A lot of what you're eating is doing that. We have to find another way. We have to find another way. Pray for the Holy Spirit to bring you that knowledge and understanding, and hopefully we can share it with each other. I'm just starting to learn a couple things, but so far to go. We may not have the time anyway, because I'm reminded of this, and I'll go over to it right now. It's 2 verses, and start with Mark 13:20. Okay? You remember this, right? And except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. That's also in Matthew 24:22. Matthew 24 talks about the end days. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Yeah. And so, that's not far away, folks. You think that you're alive and, you're in your 20s or your 30s and you still got, you still think you have 20, 30 something odd years to go. But folks, they've turned on 5G in the UK, okay? They've been testing it for a while. People are we've heard about all the complaints. We've heard about people suffering from it, brain tumors, children dying in schools. Okay, and then now we got the chemicals, these GMOs. You can't buy any seeds. That, if you're lucky enough, you might find some, but they're all genetically modified. They have been for years. Now, the water fluoridated. Anyways, what else is in the water? I found this just for you all. This is the old Reverend Michelle Hawkins. That's not it. Yeah, this one. Right here. It's 5 years old. I just went and looked it up. There may be more out there. So this was published on October 21st, 2013. The title of it here, Evidence Emerges. Force-fed nanoparticles by New World Order. Reverend Michelle Hawkins, before she became Reverend Michelle Hawkins Man, on Omega Man Radio. And right now she's just talking about this Department of Defense Office of General Counsel. Put out a report. And I don't know exactly what it pertains, but she does talk about the nanobots in this. So, you can go listen to it. I'm not going to play it. It's 14 minutes long. But I will leave the link. All right, so let's, get off that depressing subject, And I didn't even talk about half of it, Well, maybe half. But anyway, let's go on. What else is going on? Creepy Joe Biden is back. Then again, he's never left. Joe Biden flirts with and gropes another young girl on camera. Less than 2 months after issuing a video saying he would stop groping men and women, Joe Biden was at a campaign rally where he openly flirted with a young girl and put his hands on her shoulders. Yes, I saw the video. He said he would stop. And he's running, president, right? Never happened. In this one, after reading this article about the danger of GMOs, you will probably never want to eat genetically modified food again. You shouldn't want to. Anyway, genetically modified. Should tell you right there. It's modified. In what way? First of all, it doesn't produce seeds. So you can, or at least ones that will regrow. And in Genesis, the Lord, made all kinds of trees with its fruit-bearing seeds that can, reproduce itself. That was the whole thing. Giving it seeds to reproduce, but these things don't. They're just the opposite. They're trying everything. This is Satan's little, demonic world that he's running here. This is what's going on, obviously. You know what's going on. So it's going to be the opposite. Yeah, they're going to, produce these fruit and whatever fields, but those seeds aren't going to grow. You're going to have to buy more from us, the lab-made ones. We won't get into what could possibly be in it. All I could tell you that none of it's good. It's just made by man. Nothing man ever did was good for anybody. Not yet. There's been many scientists and doctors and who knows what, that have had, or were on a mission to make, mankind better or serve mankind in a good way, and end up with each and every one of them, their ideas stolen, their patents stolen, and something evil was made from it. The atom bomb. I don't remember what was supposed to come of it. Maybe it was free energy, but the atom bomb was discovered. And it wasn't us first. I believe it was the Japanese, or maybe somebody else, but the Japanese had it too. They just weren't as far along as we were. And we kind of tested it, so I hear. That was the test. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Those were the tests, because if that didn't fail, they had a way of creating a earthquake or tsunami. That was plan B, to make the tsunami. They did it in 2011? 11? Fukushima. Everyone thinks it was a naturally occurring 9.0 earthquake. That's what everyone was led to believe. Seen a lot of evidence and photographic evidence, documents to prove something totally different. Anyways, no GMOs. This is what I'm talking about with the mosquitoes. DARPA. DARPA can exterminate humanity. Yeah, well, a lot of things now can exterminate humanity. They're trying to do it. 5G. Spraying. Fluoridation. You could feasibly wipe out the human race. Yeah, well, they could do it with the nuclear bombs. Right? I mean, we know all about the testing. We got videos of the testing, at least on America's side. I just wonder if we really do have nuclear bombs anymore. Do we have anything bigger than what we saw, drop on or fall on? Yeah, dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Do you know for sure? And a lot of this stuff you don't know for sure. And a lot of it is propaganda. A lot of it, is made up. A lot of it's not being told. I mean, you get little feelers here and there. And Elon Musk talked about his wanting to basically flood the ionosphere, or wherever it is. They call it space. They're satellites, these multiple satellites upon satellites, because people complained about the antennas going up in their neighborhoods. They're going to do it with satellites instead, and they're going to beam that thing directly down. They're going to take electricity from space. They already have the DO weapons and other weapons. I mean, that's what they're planning on doing. They're going that way, basically. And I learned this from Stop the Crime, from Debbie Traveris. I mean, what do you call it? Solar energy is not efficient. You have cloudy days. You have, nighttime hours. So there's, 8 to 12 hours out of the night that the sun's not out. And other things. I mean, now that they're chem spraying the skies, I mean, there is a lot of interfering with the sunlight. But that won't be the case when they put up these satellites and start taking this electricity down from space. And we know that we are an electric universe. We've seen what that meteorite did as it passed by Mars, just for that brief second that was caught on video. Where it's proof that scar on Mars, that may have what happened to the atmosphere of Mars. That something came close and kind of arced it with some kind of plasma and just took away its atmosphere and scarred the planet there. Whether it was done intentionally or just something floating by. The Lord did not create chaos. Chaos was created by another being, a lesser being. He was eventually kicked out of heaven because of it. Because of a lot of things. It was just evil. And he basically did it to himself. He was created perfect. but his thought pattern turned evil continuously. And so he has done a lot of things. He thinks he's better than God. He thinks that he's just better, and he should be above God. And that's what the other thing that we're working for. I mean, CERN and places like that. Eventually, this battle of Armageddon, we'll talk, they think that it's going to be, that Satan actually thinks that, either he can stop time, and so he doesn't have to worry about the short period of time he has, or he thinks that he can actually make something, the CERN and all these other colliders around the world, maybe put them all on at the same time and just try to attack God that way? Are you kidding me? That's how deranged this thinking is. And I just put this up here. NASA selects 3 moon landing service providers for Artemis program. Folks, you've heard about it, right? In the news, it's even on mainstream. America wants to go back to the moon. Why? Okay. Supposedly, the last time we went there, we were told not to go back. That's why you have these Transformer movies. Okay, you remember one of them was actually started, on the dark side of the moon, supposedly. I mean, Hollywood produce basically what they've either done or going to do. In saying that, I have to say that most people get lost in these transmissions, this predictive programming. And if you don't know these things, I was lost in it for many years, hours upon hours, either in gaming or on TV. And now that I'm in another direction. I mean, I can go back. I don't go back. It's hardly anything that I watch anymore. But what I do watch, for some reason or another, I don't know. I see things in them. Maybe they're not true. Maybe it's my own imagination. I don't know. But there's always a reason for what we're doing and what we're not doing. It's up to, you got to figure that out with help. They said they lost the ability to go to the moon. They just lost the day. They lost the know-how. All the information was erased somehow. So they didn't know how to go back. And then you got some of these ISS astronauts who were saying that, we never went to the moon. We're waiting on that program called Orion, that Project Orion, that's supposed to take man into space for the first time. Hasn't been done. They haven't got past the Van Allen belt. Some people calling it the firmament. It's a radiation belt. Man can't get by it. He'll get sick and die. I mean, that's where all these sun's rays come, and get absorbed and bounce off. You want to talk about that? And can we can afford to go to the moon and do all this now? Our infrastructure is collapsing. People are starving. People are homeless. There are still people from Katrina, Houston, L.A. that are still homeless and are devastated. And nothing's been done. Well, not enough. We have all these conditions. How are they going to go to the moon? Well, they're really putting it into our face, man. We need to wake up out of this fog and claim these poisons and everything else, or not claim them, rebuke them. Get them out of our system. Ask for the healing that the Lord gave His stripes for. Let's get these things out of us. Let's do something about it. Whatever that can be, whatever the Lord wills us. That's all I can say. But this is just in our face. all these things going on, and still even more today. Obviously, look at the way we've been attacked just the past few weeks. Devastated in the middle of the country, West Coast still. And we're still waiting here on the East Coast for this big water event. They're still talking about they want to get us away from the coast. How are they going to do it on the East Coast? Not a whole lot to burn here. We got, last time I checked, there's 70% of the population that live on the coast, and most of them are here in the East Coast, north to south. Most heavily populated part of the United States. You're going to kill a lot of people if there's, this talk of this 100-foot high tsunami from any of these dormant or alive volcanoes that slip into the ocean and cause this wave, or whether it's man-made, which apparently there's a lot of talk about that they can do it. They've been, doing it off the shores of New Zealand. Did it, anyways, we won't get into it. Let's go on. Not much more. I'm going to do a little quicker here. U.S. Postal Service announces a giant ammo purchase. Now, I don't know if this is a regurgitation of news that we've already seen, because there has, I talked to World Watchman, and he says that there are, articles out there that are being brought back out that were, out a couple years ago. Now, I remember some federal agencies, I don't know which one. Oh, it was the IRS, yes, it was the IRS. But now it's the Post Office. Purchasing ammo. Yeah, it was the IRS purchasing ammo. And for mostly, what was these, Glock pistols and shotguns, Remington shotguns. 72,000 rounds. Yeah. Is that our money too? 46,000 rounds. I mean, are they really going to get American citizens who, I guess you could if you go and do this mind-altering frequency thing that some people claim that can be done. I guess you can do it to minds that are weak, that are gullible. I used to be gullible, very gullible. I may still be, even with this. I know a lot more. I have a lot more discernment. In any case, one of these hollow points too. In any case, they want to get rid of the majority of the population for whatever reasons. They're claiming climate, global warming, which they're doing actually when they put this stuff in the atmosphere. Actually, it's the Earth, and it's moved, so it's making up for its movement. Yeah, so the Post Office now. For the first time in regathered Israel's history, a duly elected prime minister fails to form a coalition, triggering an unprecedented repeat election. Yep. It was the first time in Israeli history. Yep. So Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the Likud faction ahead of a vote that he had not succeeded in reaching a compromise with Yisrael Beitenu leader Avigdor Lieberman on the controversial Haredi, the ultra-Orthodox conscription bill, and that he had also tried unsuccessfully to woo MKs from the opposition to join his government. The state of Israel is going to elections because of the Likud's refusal to accept our proposal, Lieberman said as he entered the Knesset plenum. This is a complete surrender of the Likud to the ultra-Orthodox. We will not be partners in a government of Jewish law. Anyways, I don't know much about that part of Israel's history. So for those who do, maybe you could tell me what's going on. Vatican reeling as Pope Francis admits there's an army of over 8,000 pedophile priests. Oh, didn't at one time that somebody admitted that 70% of these priests are pedophiles. Been admitted before, 70%. So if that comes to 8,000, whatever, we already knew that. I guess this is kind of regurgitated news too, but and more of this story. Yeah, we warned you. All you parents who are, all up for this, teaching your, 5 and 6 year olds in a freaking library story time. Yeah. Drag Queen Story Hour is using registered sex offenders to read the LGBTQ plus themed stories to your children at the public library. Now, why aren't these parents being fined or arrested for abuse? In my opinion, that's abuse. But, in a world upside down, good is evil and evil is good, I guess, we're in time where we are. Okay? We're in Sodom and Gomorrah again. We're in Lot's days. We're in Noah's days. So there you have it. I mean, what else do we have to wait for? Things are pretty darn close. Hope you know that. They are really, really close. I mean, if, somebody, I know there's a lot of Christians who, are pretty blessed, know a lot, have the Holy Spirit many times. You could, kind of see it and hear it in their talking and their chatting and their way about them. And even they know what time it is. And even knowing that, of course, in the end, it's all, you count it all joy, yes. But it's that in-betweens I'm talking about. You know what I mean? The in-betweens. I can only give you an example. I mean, I get up in the morning, I pray like everyone else does, or mostly should, and get ready for work. And I'm still praying and talking to him while I'm driving to work. And I get into work. And once I get into the building and punch in, then I'm actually into that world. And I still talk to him all day, but that's where I am. And then through the course of the day, certain things happen, certain people talking to you, the way they talk, the way they, admire one thing over another, but not God. By the time I get home, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And then I pray again. Then I talk to other brothers and sisters if I can. And it gets washed away. And that's why we need our brothers and sisters, man. They can see that coming. They can see that. Or you could just go in there and just be in a chat room talking to people or on a phone call talking with someone. That's how we get, lifted up. And we're more susceptible and more open to the Holy Spirit. And, the cycle goes on. Hopefully someday, that tight line, that rope, whatever you want to call it, fence we sit on, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like the residue of the whole day weighs on you until you get home. I normally don't feel better until I'm talking to somebody or talking about it. I know I'm going on too long. I'm sorry. Hawaiian warns tourists of a parasitic worm that can burrow into human brains. I mean, look at all these things. I don't know if they've always been there, but they're definitely, knowledge is increased tremendously, and that's one of the conditions set for the future and the second coming, the return of Jesus, is that knowledge will be increased. We'll hear about more things. I mean, we'll see more things on a worldly basis. In any case, so there's just a lot of this stuff out there. And just the one last thing, yeah, it is. Just want to mention this. Julian, our fellow patriot, and this is not my words, and hero, Julian Assange, is in big trouble. At this time, there are reports of him not only suffering psychologically, but also fears from his mother and Ron Paul that the UK is slowly killing Assange in jail, and that they are doing it on purpose. However, despite all the torture and pressure that Assange is under, he took it upon himself to write a letter to the world, and you won't believe what it contains. And I have not opened this letter, mainly for the reason I try and stay away from this person who is on the cover. I don't want to point fingers and accuse, but I'm just saying that I stay away from her for reasons that I will not put out to the public because it's not right, because I haven't gone to her first. Okay, so I will not, but you can judge for yourself. You can go read this letter, and maybe it won't, affect you at all, but I wouldn't suggest it. There are other things in here, too. Oh, what just happened? Well, that was different. That was certainly different. All right, so anyway, here's, let's see. You know him, Dustin Nemos. Okay, he has a minute and a half clip. I need to go turn on that so you can hear it. I'll go do that. Minute and a half. Concerning, I saw an article the other day. It was out, the other day on my PC. Come on, and let's see. I'm just trying to find the one that I had the other day. Second. It was also from before its news. I lost it. Anyways, can't find it right away, so I'll just forget about it. Let's play this.
Assange is being killed, possibly tortured as well. His health is declining. He is in state custody behind bars, right? I thought we were supposed to be giving up security for safety. Isn't that the goal? But the most secure place behind bars is also very dangerous.
Yeah, he's not in the as far as I know, he's not in the UK prison to be given security. He's actually in UK prison because he missed a court date. Okay, that he was accused of molesting or doing something to somebody. And he's also waiting, I guess after that, maybe the protection comes after knowing all this, that as soon as he's released, maybe on his own recognizance or bail or whatever they have there. But the U.S. can snap him up because we've heard earlier that he's been charged on 18 accounts at least of, crimes against the state, espionage, whatever reporters are being charged with now for reporting the real news. In any case, I don't believe that he should face a lot of these charges because even though we're on a perpetual war against terror, I mean, that was basically telling you that we're going to be fighting in a war state for the rest of everybody's lives because there will always be terror. And so we have to continually fight it, according to Bush. And so that gives us just an open end. The war machine, you know, it's just an open war now. And so he can be arrested, you know, yeah, he can go to jail for that, for supplying information to the enemy, which he wasn't really doing. He was just putting it out in the air of what U.S. troops were being ordered to do, not giving away positions, military places, and I don't know, information like that. Biggest thing in there was that video of some soldiers in a chopper shooting down unarmed civilians, supposedly in a street somewhere. Yeah, they may have been very bad people, but in any case, that's our war on terror.
So, Julian Assange's Swedish lawyer, Per Samuelsson, has told the press that Assange's health situation on Friday was such that it was not possible to conduct a normal conversation with him. Not many people are actually covering this, of course. Julian Assange is now in the hospital wing of the British prison. Lawyer says he is in such bad shape that he cannot have normal conversation. And this is from Cassandra Fairbanks, who is a friend of his. Cassandra.
Okay. There you have it. That's an update for that. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to finish with this. And I know, I can't believe we went way over again. It's just one thing that's very weird. This is from Florida Maquis again, okay? He does some good work. But apparently, a couple days ago, even though this report was out yesterday, I didn't catch it till today, this actually happened. In, what was it, Missouri? It was either Missouri or Illinois. Doesn't it say in here? I don't know. It was either Missouri or Illinois that was holding a statewide Ebola drill, okay? Just the one state. It was either Illinois or Missouri, and maybe I'm talking about the same darn thing, but it was statewide. And so it was very strange that this $4.5 million private jet flew out of this state under a Ebola, exercise, and flew southeast through a few states, and eventually, let's see, is there a map in here that he talks about? Yeah, and eventually flew down and out here, I guess there's Fort Lauderdale here, and flew around and just started flying out off the East Coast, okay? And then at this point, these two military aircraft, F-15s, were tailing this, very expensive jet. And apparently these pilots witnessed this jet do some very weird altitude adjustments and turns. And then next thing you know, the thing dived into the Atlantic Ocean. Once it passed this continental ridge, okay, which is not so deep water. You get out here, the water obviously gets deeper and deeper. So what happens is when it got out here and it knew that these planes, these F-15s were behind it, it did some of this erratic maneuver and then just did a nosedive into the Atlantic Ocean. And the thing is that they're not going to go looking for that. Not in that ocean that deep for this one plane. And nobody knows why. It's just speculation. Okay, that was just something very weird. Maybe, let's see, where is this? Where is this state?
And the most important thing here is, look how far out to sea it was.
All right, well, I can,
when the F-15s.
But I will include it. So with that, everybody, we're running late. God bless. You can all catch it in the video, hopefully. It'll come out within the hour. It will be all recorded on Mixlr for anyone who missed it. The video will be out within the hour, hopefully, on my website, 12pine.com, and hopefully on YouTube right at the same time. So with that, God bless everyone. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. I'm hoping to come on somewhere over the weekend. I mean, there's so much that we should be talking about and, you know, sharing, whatever. But in the meantime, just be safe. Watch out for your family. Keep them close. Keep your loved ones, all of them, close. Know where you can get a hold of them. Know how to reach them. And maybe even have a drill over the weekend. Have a blackout drill. Been a big talk lately. Have a blackout drill. Yes. Have a, have 5 gallons per person blackout drill over the weekend. Okay? That's what the Californians are being told to get down to. 5.5 gallons per person per day. This is the water wars that we're having. So anyways, God bless everyone and peace out.